great pleasure, humility, and confidence that I thank you and welcome you into this discussion today. Your daily urgency meeting about resilience. A big topic, but I try and break it down to small, digestible pieces or nuggets or chewable gummies for you to consider in the limited time we have to spend together today. Consider the title not just as a title for this episode, but as a title for yourself. Audiobook. I had mentioned probably many times before that what drives me are those four components: light, energy, music, and money. And then I summarize that in terms of currency, meaning the one word currency touches on those four words or aspects for the question I ask and answer for myself about what drives me in each day and hopefully in more moments than it does not. So I mentioned for this topic today, audiobook. I know it sounds kind of silly, but even when I'm walking or driving or, God forbid, I'm actually out running, I tend to see what's around me as a leading or background soundtrack. And usually I'm listening to music at the same time, and maybe I'm having direct input as far as what the sound is coming through my ears. But with or without that, when I see what's around me, and now I'm starting to do more about what's in me, to tap in or use that foundation, that background, or maybe even that foreground music or sound to guide me through the day. Now, obviously, I can't rely on that when I'm trying to navigate through rush hour traffic on the highway. I'm not saying that. What I am saying that I tend to see things not because my eyes are any clearer or more penetrating than yours, but I observe things. But I hear either on the front end or on the trailing edge of the present moment a sound, a melody, a flow. Now, like in my personal experiences trying to become or get past being an aspiring musician or becoming a reputable and worthy trumpeter, the notes that I sound on my trumpet don't always come out sharp or clear or in rhythm or in time with the band stage or the band that I'm leading or have the fortune to be invited to play with them. So sometimes what I play doesn't come out on that soundtrack or the background noise or in the front noise or the front music as coherent. But the intention is still there. I still have this passion. Yeah, I know it's impossible, obviously, to ever get close to playing like Miles or Chet or Vincent Garcia or Marquise Hill or Blue Mitchell or Lee Morgan. Yeah, a man can dream, but I don't become delusional either. I want to represent the art, the instrument, the music, the sound accurately. It's not about me. It's about what's already existing as opposed to tune in and then complement. I certainly don't have the capability or capacity to play something that hasn't been played before. Yes, as they say, as every musician would say, find your own sound. Don't try and sound like anybody. Sound like you. And that's that slippery approach. I want to sound like Chet. I want to sound like Miles. But where's my sound? Find that first. So I know I'm kind of like a preamble to what I want to get into today. I may have to break this up into two parts. But I'm giving you quick summary or context for me as my own audiobook. Me with a soundtrack that kind of guides me through my day and these moments. So I'm not sure if I can say this is necessary. Let me say that it's not necessary that you need to have a soundtrack or a backing track or introductory music when you walk into a room. But that music, bear with me, already exists within you. You don't need a CD or a DVD or MP3 player or your phone, your Apple Music or your Amazon Music. You don't need that. You know why? Because that cadence, that steady beat, that rhythm already exists within you. Your systems, for the most part, if you're like me, most of them are online. But even though I have to go to the hospital in a couple of days to get checked out for the heartbeat thing and the blood flow and the ejection factor stuff, yeah, maybe some things are not quite lined up or aligned as they should be due to my bad habits as far as dietary transgressions. But the main thing is this rhythm, this soundtrack that is within you already exists. Yes, again, I return to that heartbeat, that steady cadence that permits you and I, that allows you and I to even be here right now. Sure, we have brain waves, we have, movements of our arms and legs, but at the essence, and that's what I always want to come back to, our common essence that you and I share, even though we have never met and may never meet physically. But right now, we're having a conversation on this thing called resilience, this common quality that we all have, but many of us have not taken the time to consider, define, put in context, and then act on those things that we've been given in this life. I'm not trying to berate you. I'm trying to remind myself of what I am expressing and keep practicing. Keep reminding myself it's good to have this conversation, not just with myself, but sometimes with actual people who want to engage in this kind of conversation about what drives us. So let's consider this as part one of the audiobook. And God permitting, we'll come back to this on the second part to get a little deeper into this soundtrack audiobook thing that I propose that you and I can share, and maybe we can do a concert together. All right, stay present, stay current. No matter where you are in this world, please remember, it is always 820.